So, okay, there's nobody there yet. I'll let you know. Hello, Mary. So we are here in the Indigo Dragonfly dye kitchen. First of all, is this connection better? Is this connection better than what we were doing earlier this morning? Wait, what's she doing? No. So this is the Indigo Dragonfly dye kitchen. It's a regular home kitchen. Sorry, you have to do your waving thing again. Ron has hat wardrobe today.
I have to do my Vanna.
Happy birthday, Casey. And Victoria, is this connection better than it has been? Ugh. Here we go. All right, everybody, we're here in the Indigo Dragonfly dye kitchen. Ron is doing his stretching because dyeing is strenuous. Look, there he goes. He's also done his hat wardrobe change. He is currently wearing the
Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation.
Ron has like 1,000,001 logo too, 'cause it's a thing. So Ron, tell us what you're doing.
Today we're going to be making a pot of Frolic. And this is the color for the show. And what we've got here is we have some assorted pots. And we're going to start with this one. Move it to the counter. Now this is the four bases. Whoops. This is the four bases that we are dyeing the yarn in this year. We've got.
Sure. Good.
Next one is Chameleon Sock.
And next?
Then we've got Wingenhoven DK.
Excellent.
And you can all see that they're slightly different colors. So the skeins generally do not come soaked ahead of time because yes, we are doing Food Network type dyeing today. We're gonna make this pretty yarn go blue. So.
Yes, Rita. The yak base is dark because the yak has been bleached. We love the fact that Wingenhoven DK doesn't bleach the yak.
So
Bubbles.
First thing we're gonna do is lift up the yarn and pour some dye in.
So Frolic is a 2-part color process. This is just part 1.
And helpful household hint, if you're going for a glass of water at home and your water is this color, don't drink it. So.
Very helpful.
We try. Next we're going to drop the yarn into the dye water. Mix. And we're going to sploosh it around.
Sploosh being a technical term.
Sometimes it's dog paddle.
Yes, show them dog paddling.
A little hard to do in this angled attempt.
Thanks, not Jen. We might switch back. I'm glad the picture is better, though.
Okay, so it's blue. But wait, there's more.
Are you making it do the flippy thing?
Making it. The base dye is basically the breadcrumbs of the operation. There we go. Any white undyed yarn, and it's good to go on the stove.
Excellent. what happens next?
What happens next? Well, it's a little bit of a longer stir. It will cook for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. In that time, we will be adding fixatives so that the blue is blue and doesn't run all over the place. And then we'll be adding the splotchy colors.
Excellent.
Yes. So, a test knot test pot. And then what we will do with this is once it's spun and dried, then we will just over dye it as something else.
That sounds fantastic.
So, this is fixative.
Carissa, I thought you'd like this color. And fixative is, the dyes we use are acid dyes, which means they need to be fixed with a weak acid. Weak acids are things like white vinegar and citric acid. We use citric acid powder that's been dissolved in water because it's got a higher concentration of acid, which means we can use less of it. And it's food safe. It's safe to put down into our septic system. We are trying to be as environmentally conscious as possible and are always looking for ways to do that. So we use dyes that don't have any heavy metals in them. So they are relatively safe and low impact. And we use citric acid because it doesn't have a smell. It doesn't make our house smell like pickles or our studio smell like pickles. And it does the job really quickly.
Yeah. And a fun anecdote, this was from many years ago. We had somebody ask us how to fix yarn, or how to fix the color in the yarn. And we told them, use vinegar because they're at home, they don't have access to citric acid. And they got back to us a bit later, and they were really upset because the balsamic vinegar that they used did weird things to the yarn.
Oy.
So, cheap white vinegar is what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Although I'm sure it made a really nice salad. Okay, so.
Yarn salad.
So, if we go like this.
Yeah.
Look. It's been 15 minutes.
Excellent.
So, what we will do with this is we have an empty pot here. And what we would do is we would take the water out.
And why are you doing that, Ron?
Because the first step of this dyeing operation is to get the main water out of the yarn. Because we want to start with, for the second step, dry where you are.
Okay.
So, what we would have is the blue yarn.
Right, Songbird Fibers? I've often said that if you put... that the great thing about hand-dyed yarn is that there's really no competition between us because we all dye so completely differently. You could use a different indie dyer's yarn every day for a year and not have the same effect twice. In fact, even in our studio, Ron and Victoria and I, our hands are different. If we dye the same color on the same yarn with the same batch of dye, it will look different from person to person because we each have different eyes and brains and hands, and it really does make a difference.
Okay. So.
Knit Lindy has asked, can you reuse the water that you've drained?
Yes, I am.
Yes, we are going to reuse it. In fact, normally when we dye, if we were doing this on a normal day, we would cook the blue until the water, we can reuse that clear water to rinse or soak yarn for the next batch of dyeing. The water that Ron just drained out is still blue because we're doing a quick, fast version of this colorway for you. And so it still has active dye in the water. And because of that, we will use that later to dye some other yarn. So the other thing that we do that's really low impact around here is that we cook the yarn in such a way that there is no dye left in the water when we are done. So all the dye goes into the yarn.
Okay, so next is up for the coloring bit. And what we've got here is we've got 4 different colors. We got a red, we got a purple, we got a yellow, and a green.
So he has yellow, red, purple, and green. The sound effects are important.
So that's that.
Excellent.
Next up, we add a little bit more fixative. And this is so that the dye that we just added stays where it is. And also having practically no water in the pot makes it doubly easy for that to do.
The more water in the pot, the more the dye moves around and interacts with the yarn. Less water means less interaction.
And repeat.
Make your sounds louder.
So for an operation like this, if you're one of those people that loves going to dollar stores for no particular reason, you can get the cost 25 cents.
How long are we have yet to run with acid dyes? They last months. In fact, we have had times when we have taken a month off, usually around the holidays, and so they last for a really good long time. If we were using fiber reactive dyes, fiber reactive dyes do start to exhaust as soon as the powder hits the liquid. But we are really lucky. It's like we get... Maggie's asking, was talking about his little spray bottle that he uses for acid dye. Oh, and let's show you the adult.
So salt shakers are really useful, turkey basters. We get strange looks when we go into the Shoppers Drug Mart. They're for injecting dye, not for...
So, tools for dyeing at the dye. We really enjoy exploring and seeing if we can find tools that will do interesting new things to the yarn. And also for terrorizing dye camps students, making them dye yarn with rubber ducks and handcuffs. That was a fun year.
Which is coincidentally the name of your next book.
What?
Rubber Ducks and Handcuffs.
Rubber Ducks and Handcuffs, the Kim McBrien Evans story.
The things to dye with.
Dyeing at stained fingers?
Yes.
Well, let's talk to my publisher. Let's make sure the first book sells well first.
It's a confessional.
A confessional.
Okay.
And socks.
Yes.
Victoria says, and socks.
Okay.
What was that? Okay, so we had now I need to tell everybody, we had a dye camp exercise a few years ago where we handed people a paper bag that had in it rubber ducks, a pair of tube socks, a bag of marbles, handcuffs, and a slotted spoon. And they had to use all of those as dyeing tools in the yarn that they made. They were not amused. We were greatly amused. Okay, Ron, next. What's happening?
We're going to fix the yarn.
Woot!
So, throw a fix on the yarn and then boil her up. And we would let this boil until it is clear.
Yep.
And that'll be different for every type of yarn that you use, every type of dye that you use, every concentration of dye that you use. So it could be, for some of them it only takes a couple of minutes, for some of them it can take like half an hour, and then you let it sit overnight to absorb all the rest.
Camp and see. Okay, what next, Ron?
Okay, so this is cooking,
Yes.
and if we go like this, it's now 110, and the yarn.
Okay.
So what we were to this exciting bucket here. Going to restaurant supply stores, they are excellent for dye materials. If you pan over to the big cookie rack that's behind us, that's where we keep all of our dye pots. And when we went in to buy that, I think we broke the salesperson's brain by explaining what we wanted to do with it. He didn't understand that you can use these for things other than cooking. So that was a fun day.
So the yarn gets soaked,
So
and we actually use soak in our studio. We really like what it does to the yarn, and that helps wash out any excess dye that didn't get absorbed. Oh, look, Ron even has props. Look at that.
So it would normally be wet and sink like a rock. This is a skein that's just for over dyeing anyway, so la 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 la. So they would go in there, soak in water. Hey, look, it's soaked for a while. Pull it out and throw it in the spinner.
So this is just a laundry spinner. All it does is spin the water out of yarn. And we do this step because then the yarn dries faster and we can get it out to you faster. Thanks, Victoria.
Okay.
Shout out to Jacqueline and all of her minions at Soak Wash who are donating so many great products to frontline workers right now. So support Soak, they're amazing. And now,
So we would take the yarn out,
yes,
we would hang it and dry it.
yes, and then,
It comes out like this.
woot,
So then we would take it over to our spinner
wow.
until it is all reskeined. And we're doing that for you because we love you, and we also think that the color looks a lot better as reskeined as opposed to not. A lot of these are not reskeined.
Like this.
This is not reskeined, where on the other hand, this is reskeined. So it gives a totally different picture, and when you reskein it, for some folks, it gives them a better picture in their mind of what it's going to look like when it's knit up.
So someone has just asked us how the yarn doesn't get tangled. That is another secret you learn at dye camp.
We can show them.
No, we can't.
Okay.
You have to save some things.
Okay.
Or I have no comedy.
Okay. We'll give you one cryptic clue. Red heart.
Oy. Oy. Okay, and then,
And then once those have all been reskeined, they will magically come over to the kitchen here.
why are they back in the kitchen?
Because the yarn is
Oh, yes, yes. And of course, we do store them all in pots like this for you.
and that's
And
what
that
you
is your Frolic yarn.
do. Yes.
If you want some for your very own, it's available in 4 different bases, including one that is wool-free, linen silk sock, chameleon, which is merino, cashmere, and silk, wing and hooven DK, which is yak silk and merino, and Rouse Sport, which is 100% merino. It's an excellent, and the colorway is called
Frolic.
Frolic. Yes, Toronto Knitters Guild, to keep them fresh.
Yes.
Speaking of fresh, so these are available on our website from now until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. or whenever we remember to take the listing down,
It's usually Monday morning. when
which
we
is
come
usually
back to
Monday
work.
morning. Let's be real about this.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to order it in any amounts that you want, and you will get your yarn within 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks, thank you. Yes, we can give you some pattern ideas. I will post those on Instagram later today, and we can also put some of those up on the page where you find the yarn. Just keep scrolling down and we'll give you some links to some patterns that would work really well. All right, so thank you for joining us for this live dyeing session. Would Rev Sport be good for baby knitting? Absolutely. In fact, we're about to post a picture of a baby sweater that Victoria whipped up just yesterday and the day before she knit out of the rouse, so you can see what it looks like. All right. We'll be back at...
I believe 1:15?
No. 1:15?
1:15 or 1:30?
Check our grid for the schedule because I can no longer remember what my name is. And we will see you back then with Destiny from Seattle Yarn, who's going to show us what she's been working on in our yarn. And we'll talk about her shop, Seattle Yarn, which is one of our favorite yarn shops in the entire world. And we'll see you later as Ron dancing. And Ron will have a different hat on later on. Take care. 1:30, Victoria says. Thank you, minions. We'll talk to you later. Bye.